CHEK News is joining forces with CBC to bring CBC News programming to Vancouver Island. In less than 1 hour, veteran broadcaster Tony Parsons will anchor CBC News at 6 from Vancouver. And starting this evening, CHEK News will broadcast CBC's premier flagship newscast featuring award-winning BC broadcaster Gloria Makarenko and meteorologist Claire Martin.
He usually delivers the news, but today he is the news.
He is by far the original, the one and the only news anchor for British Columbia. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very thrilled to announce that as of today at 5 o'clock, Tony Parsons will be joining our news team.
Tony Parsons joins CBC News Vancouver.
The legendary broadcaster will co-host CBC's dinner hour newscast from Vancouver with Gloria Makarenko. Parsons replaces Ian Hannah-Mansing, who has joined CBC's national newscast. Vancouver Island viewers will also be able to see Parsons on CHEK at the same time.
The 6 o'clock version of the local CBC Vancouver News will now appear also on CHEK.
This is not the first time Parsons has appeared on CHEK at 6. When he previously hosted CBC-TV's NewsHour, it was broadcast on CHEK as well. The most familiar face in TV news in BC has been appearing in living rooms for 35 years. Last month, Parsons joined CHEK as host of the 10 p.m. local newscast.
I'm looking forward to continuing my association with CHEK, who are, again, fantastic people doing an historical job of their own. It's an employee-owned station, and that hasn't happened in the industry as far as I know. And they, believe me, have fire in their belly, and they're going to make that place work, and I'm very proud to be also a member of that team.
He's going to be extremely busy. As soon as he finishes the show here, he's going to get on a plane and head to Victoria to do the show. CHEK
will once again be a CBC affiliate, a position it held from its beginnings in 1956 through to 1981.
CHEK will be considered a news affiliate. That means it will have access to feeds from across the country, and we'll also be helping to reflect Vancouver Island to the rest of Canada through CBC News coverage.
It's a relationship that's come full circle, as the building that is home to CHEK today was originally built by the CBC.
If you're just joining us, here are some of the stories we've been following this hour. Ask anyone on the street about the HST, and the general response is kill it. However, the anti-HST movement is still struggling to find some momentum, but tonight some business owners have jumped on board, providing a slight boost. Also tonight, the provincial government slashed hundreds of jobs today in resource-based ministries. The government says it's trying to keep a handle on the deficit. However, that doesn't help those who received pink slips today. However, our top story tonight, it started with Tony at 10, and beginning tonight, CHEK News will also bring you Tony at 6. CHEK News is joining forces with CBC to bring CBC News programming to Vancouver Island. In about a half hour, veteran broadcaster Tony Parsons will anchor CBC News at 6 from Vancouver. And starting this evening, CHEK News will broadcast CBC's premier flagship newscast. Hi.
Hey.
It was
oh, that's nice.
We're right back. So it was a narrow and foamy escape by a would-be Houdini on the weekend. Okay, so a Winnipeg illusionist, Dean Gunnarsson, decided to one-up the escape master by submersing himself in a tank of beer. He was handcuffed before being changed into the 240-liter steel barrel. He struggled for over 2.5 minutes, that long, but finally emerged soaking wet and probably a little, well, tipsy. And for those connoisseurs out there, the beer in the barrel was Labatt's.
What was it, eh? Yeah, a tank of blue. That's good.
I think he would just drink himself through it.
Well, you know what? He doesn't drink.
Oh, is that really? The deal?
Yeah, he's a non-drinker and got out of there. And
because it would have taken me 5 minutes to get out.
Yeah, I would think so,
you could have stayed in there for a while.
Just come out again. Yeah, I'll be a few more minutes.
Before we take off, it looks like the weather is turning into
we're finally
spring conditions.
Turn around here. It's going to start to match up with the brochure for a change, so that's good. 19 degrees by the end of the weekend.
That's unreal.
Yeah, so enjoy that.
And the Salmon Kings can stay alive.
Yeah, it's do or done tonight, and as I mentioned, we'll have highlights with Tony Parsons tonight at 10.
Sounds good. That's it for us. Tony Parsons is next. Good night.
evening. This is CBC News, Vancouver at 6. Welcome to viewers on Vancouver Island watching on CHEK-TV. Our top stories tonight. She's alive. A BC sailor turns up 6 weeks late in a Chilean port. Plus, policing the playoffs. A warning to Canucks fans. And the Terry Fox legacy, the 30-year anniversary of his Marathon of Hope.
CBC News Vancouver at 6 with Tony Parsons and Gloria Makarenko.
It's been 30 years since Terry Fox set off on his Marathon of Hope. In that time, great strides have been made in cancer research. But as Deborah Goebel reports, a quest for a cure is far from over.
It was always about hope. When Terry Fox first dipped his artificial leg in the waters off Newfoundland 30 years ago today, he dreamed of raising $1 million for cancer research. 3 decades have passed, and Terry has been gone for a long time now. But the hope he inspired never died. There is the economic legacy, of course, $500 million raised so far. Money that has led to great strides in cancer research here in BC.
So there are new chemotherapy drugs and new surgical strategies that are used for osteosarcoma, so it's unlikely that Terry would die if he was diagnosed today.
But legacies aren't just measured in dollars.
He always kept a positive attitude, and that's what I try and take away from everything that he's done.
At 18 years old, Samantha Mattersdorfer was diagnosed with the same bone cancer as Terry Fox. Like Terry, she lost her leg, then the cancer spread to her lungs. Last month, she had a CT scan.
It's pretty stressful the night before because you're anticipating what the doctor's going to say, so hopefully I get some good news. I got my test results, and they weren't very good. My tumors had grown.
But she has no intention of giving up.
It's sometimes very hard. You have your days where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to get through this. And some days you're like, I kind of want to give up. But then you know at the end that if you don't try and you don't do things, then you're never going to know if it would have helped you or if you would have gotten better.
Because like Terry Fox, Samantha knows there is more than one way to run a marathon of hope. Deborah Goebel, CBC News, Vancouver.
And Gloria's here.
And I just want to say what a pleasure it is to welcome you to the CBC News Vancouver team. It really is great to have you sitting here beside me. I mean, I've been watching you for 30 plus years, Tony. I never thought
you had to say that, didn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been in the business for more than 25 myself, you know, but you've just been such a constant presence in the Vancouver news scene, and it's really a treat to have you next to me.
It's great to be here and be a member of this team, believe me.
Well, I know you're also still a member of the CHEK News team over in Victoria, so we would like to say a special welcome to our CHEK viewers in Victoria as well, and we've got much more coming up.
Still ahead, jet fuel fury. Some Richmond residents reject the idea of a pipeline in their backyard. And learning online.
I thought, oh, this will be kind of neat, there'll be a little website, and I was just blown away by it. It's really amazing.
What it means for the student-teacher relationship.
CBC News, Vancouver at 6. Local news that matters to you.
And Claire's back with more weather.
It's not looking too bad. Thanks very much, Tony. I'm very nervous sitting next to you, you know. It's not too bad as we go through the overnight period, both for us here in the Lower Mainland, but also on the southern tip of the island. Temperatures tonight very much on the mild side of the seasonal mark, with just the outside chance of showers. Into tomorrow, highs to around 13 degrees. I'll take a look at the 5-day forecast right after the break.
Wow, this is kind of our first little family gathering now, huh?
That's great. I enjoyed it immensely. Look forward to tomorrow. I can come back tomorrow.
You can come back tomorrow. We're going to do it again beginning at 5 o'clock, and we hope you will join us too. Have a great night. Rosa Marcatelli has your next news at 10:55.
Good night.
CHEK News. Weather with Alicia Asquith. Weekends at 5 and 10.